Before we begin, let me preface this with a short thought on difficulty. I will say that there is a moment for me in high level play where I'm overcoming the next high difficulty encounter, boss, obstacle, or opponent, where I'm fully focused and concentrated on everything pertaining to that encounter. What I mean is I have full awareness of the different abilities or options available to me, what can potentially happen next based on going with option 1, option 2, etc. I also have an idea subconsciously of what I am lacking or what my shortcomings are, so I keep that in mind as well, all in that moment of overcoming that obstacle. I'm simply dialed in, feeling like, or coming close to being a master, able to utilize every option available to me regardless of my weaknesses and get the job done. Flawlessness and overall perfection come with true mastery, but that doesn't take away from that feeling of being dialed in. Sounds like something that could be applied to life, but we are talking about Elder Scrolls Legends. With the 6+ year meta that we've all been used to, I wanted to highlight the difficulties of certain decks and how important it is when you focus and power on through. Considering the intelligence and focus needed to quote-unquote master an encounter or situation, I thought Slay would be the perfect theme to start that. Often requiring more setup and thus more cards than a traditional build, Slay is not what I would ever consider top tier, as there are faster and more efficient builds out there in my opinion. However, the impact from having everything in sync is none to scoff at, as the effects of Slay are some of the most effective and unique ways to dominate the field. What's good, everyone? Hope all is well. What we have here is a Slay breakdown in terms of combos and playstyle. I originally discussed Slay last year. Link will be in the description below. However, what I'm doing here is taking a deeper dive into combos, play mechanics, and overall tips to help play Slay better and counter Slay more accurately and effectively. This is tuned for any new players to ever grace the game, but veteran players may see something they forgot about, maybe jog your memory or try a different combination of cards in your current build. I'm Sly Boogie, and this is a deeper dive using Slay. Let's get it. Alright, so we're expanding on the Slay archetype discussion by talking about some more cards that get off properly with the Slay effect active, as well as the weaknesses and overall play styles or mindset when utilizing Slay. Before we begin, let's discuss the two types of ways players typically engage when playing the Slay archetype. The first is the standard set and wait. This is usually done when you are challenging your opponent directly by placing your monster directly in front of theirs regardless of which side of the field, and pretty much baiting them into dealing with it. The advantages of this are for when your opponent is getting aggressive and attacking you directly. This can force them to target your creatures and delay them damaging you directly in terms of a direct attack to your face. Slay creatures lack guard for the most part, but usually you can bet on your opponent trying to focus on killing that card first before continuing any assault so you don't get your effect off. Basically, it can serve as a great distraction. Emphasis on the word can though, as your opponent may have cards that can easily destroy your creatures or nullify them, or they may not care at all and continue to attack directly, depending on how aggressive the build for your opponent is. The last bit is a bit more nuanced, as things such as drain and guard in your build or on your opponent's build that can help us strengthen or the weakness on this approach. So it really depends on the monster and the field setup, so use that to your discretion with regard to the standard set and wait. The second way players typically play Slay is to play your Slay creatures in the opposite lane, usually in the shadow lane, and use another card to immediately get the Slay effect and activate it the same turn you summon it. Cards such as Squish the Wimpy, Archer's Gambit, and Sword of the Inferno are key cards in helping you navigate and activate your effects the same turn. Cards with lethal are usually what is used here, but if any enemy creatures have low defense, then those same options will be available to any Slay effect you use. The downside of this option is that it requires more cards, therefore more magicka, more setup, more time. Time that your opponent 9 times out of 10 will not give you unranked, as their agenda and whole game plan is to KO you. Typically, you're not denied either method and can use both at your discretion, depending on how your hand is, how many cards your opponent has in the hand, how the field is looking, etc. The two main things with Slay for me is field presence and hand size. If you're low on cards, your opponent can use that to stall and set up to where you cannot get any plays off and or overwhelm you. That statement can be applied to many builds, so to differentiate it, allow me to highlight some Slay cards and effects that can help turn the tide in one play. I did an M.V.P section for my Slay deck last year, and out of the M.V.P slot, I did want to reintroduce one of the most powerful cards ever, and of course that's Unstoppable Rage. Yes, Unstoppable Rage is one of the most powerful cards in ESL. Balanced at 8 cost, this action ability allows you to apply your attack of one of your creatures to every creature in that lane that they're in, your opponent and your own creatures included. This card works wonders with Slay effects, as the effects can proc for every creature killed, Brotherhood of the Sanctuary doubling that, regardless of which side, meaning you can kill your creatures to proc the effect. If you use Rage on a creature with Drain, you can generate anywhere from 5 to 30 health depending on how full the lane is and what the attack of the creature that you used it on. Unstoppable Rage and Breakthrough can potentially KO your opponent from full health depending on the defense of the enemy cards. Cards such as Pure Blood Elder, Belligerent Giant, Blood Magic Lord make for devastating combos that can easily turn the duel around for you in your favor. Do keep in mind the cost for these cards, going back to what I earlier stated regarding the combo approach requiring more time to set up. So basically this is a high risk, high reward card. Extremely valuable. Also like to take some time to talk about Blood Talon Lord. If this card had charge, it'd be broken. Try playing Moonstone with this for some crazy results, just giving you a quick heads up. Anyway, this card is a literal monster reborn for any creature it kills, being able to summon it on your side of the field. If it has a summon effect, the creature that you killed, you also benefit from getting the effect as well. The fact that it has Drain on it makes this just as bad as Grey Fox or Razumdar staying on the field past one turn. Simply put, this is the card you don't want going off on you. It has outrageous combo potential once it's able to attack. This is the card you want to play safe, as you can literally kill an opponent's strong monster, then bring it back to your side. That combo alone can make your opponent concede. At 8 attack and 8 defense, it is hard to kill outside of actions. An absolute powerhouse. So from what I mentioned earlier, those are what you can call standard. Things you should know when experimenting with Slay and Elder Scrolls Legends. Based on my experience with the current playstyle and types of builds I go against, this is not the fastest build to set up or play. Even if you start to get into your rhythm, your opponent can sabotage you with the combo all their own without you knowing. I say that to say that the other non-Slay related cards that you use to boost your strength or cover your weaknesses are key. For example, Mute can be useful to silence creatures with bothersome attacks or keywords, or just get them out of the shadow lane for an easy kill. Even cards such as Crushing Blow can be teched in there to auto kill some early game creatures. In terms of aggressive builds, that's usually what I fail to be able to catch up with, as I need time to set up. Regardless, when playing, try to remember that you have a setup / endgame you have in mind. I wouldn't recommend just summoning your monsters and attacking all aggro. Take your time and have patience. Understand that your opening hands may not be perfect, so expect to take some hits while you get everything in order. And yeah, Unstoppable Rage, make sure you have 3 crafted, premium preferable. So, that concludes this video. I hope you've seen some plays of cards that will help you climb up this always intense ladder. Let me know what cards you recommend in the comments below that you feel combo well or synergize well with Slay. I appreciate you tuning in. Not gonna lie, haven't been too focused this month in terms of climbing up the ladder. I've dabbled more in Marvel Snap, just as I'm loving the faster pace and the more consistent updates. And yeah, that's kind of the key killer separating this game, as been playing the same style of play we've had for some time regarding the current meta here. No shade, I always come back, as the slower, more skill-based play is always going to be more engaging than kind of a fast-paced, easy, consumable round from other titles. This is the only game I can have a 15-minute match and enjoy every moment of it, so you know what it is. Thanks again for tuning in. Please drop a like, consider subscribing if you enjoyed the video. I will see you on the next one. Cheers.